Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and usually I cover Tennessee games for this week. Usually I do. But I feel like this game is way more important than any Tennessee game that can happen. They're playing Connecticut. Tennessee should take care of business. This game, though, I cannot tell you who's going to take care of business. And I had a debate. What game I'm going to talk about this week? Georgia, Missouri, or LSU, Alabama? And I said to myself, what game's more likely to be close? What game's more likely to have more significance? What game's going to decide more? Which more has more history with each other? And that's Alabama versus LSU. It's that simple. And the best thing about this is not that it's played in Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's not that just LSU won last year. It's not that they're two top 15 teams. It's that it's at night. These night game rivalries, this is the time that it's meant to play at. It usually is, and I'm very happy that it continues to be that way. Sometimes it's not. But I'm very happy whenever this game's played at night because it just adds more. It just means a tad bit more when it's played at night. These close rivalry games. I bet it's going to be close. I bet it will be. But we have to cover some things. One is that LSU has a horrendous defense. But they have Harold Perkins. Excuse me, which for a lot of you, they try to put in coverage for only God knows why. He's not meant to cover. He's not that type of guy. He's meant to go after your quarterback. He's been compared to Von Miller. Just let him go after the quarterback. And he can keep up with Milroe. He's very quick. He can keep up with him. And I bet he could. They just got to let him do it. But this coverage unit is terrible. They've let Ole Miss put up over 50 on them. They've let Florida State put over 40. And Missouri almost got up to 40. I mean, you got these matchups and with teams that are very good offenses, but you make them look like amazingly great offenses. When other teams have proven that that's just, you don't have to. For example, the week before LSU played Ole Miss, pretty sure Alabama played them. Alabama held them to 10 points. Ole Miss dropped 52. And the other side of it, you can look at it as saying Alabama only scored 24 and LSU put up 48 or 49, something like that. It was ridiculous. Look at this. You can look at it that way. You can look at it whatever way. LSU have a lot over 50, but they almost got 50. Or they got held to 10 and they only scored 24. Whatever you want to look at it as. Alabama needs to really work on their first half performances because they almost got put 2 behind against Tennessee. And you dug out of that pretty quick. You did some stuff against Ole Miss. You got out of that pretty quick. Texas, you didn't dig yourself outside of that because their offense is too electrifying for the Macs to be able to handle. They'll let on them winning. USF, who would have guessed that? Now they'll work on that stuff in the second half. And LSU's one of these teams that you can't really let that happen because they're very good on an offense, and it's not one of those things that they're only going to get 20 points. If you let them go wild, they might get 27. That's a big difference between 20. They're not going to just sit in the red zone and just take field goals. No, they're going to actually score touchdowns. Very different than Tennessee. A little bit different than Ole Miss. They're going to really get these touchdowns, so you just can't let them get that close and expect them to stop. They're very good pass rush overall, but Jaden Daniels is probably the best runner you've had to face. In my opinion, he can get to top speed, he cannot run cornerbacks, and he's proven to do that. Only problem with him, with his running, is that he doesn't like to slide. This guy is a legitimate possible Heisman candidate, and he just doesn't protect himself, though. He's trying to hurdle people against Mississippi State. He got hit hard against Florida State. And then you saw that stuff happen with Ole Miss. He got absolutely ran over. That was kind of fun to see. It's one of the funniest hits I've ever... Not funniest. It's kind of funniest, but just brutal hits. Look it up. Jaden Daniels get hit by Ole Miss player. That'll be probably the first thing that pops up. It's very fun to watch. But you have the matchup here of Jaden Daniels versus this defense. And you have a pretty good running game. You have some pretty good receivers. You got guys who can make plays. You do have people that are willing to get open, have big game experience, and have performed very well in big games. Again, it always comes back to this defense, though. Can your defense hold up? And they've proven time and time again that they didn't. One thing about last year that was a big thing that people forgot about is that this game was low scoring last year until the fourth quarter. And then both defenses forgot how to play. Then Bryce Young started to play like the Heisman winner that he is. Jaden Daniels started to pop off. Mason Taylor made a name for himself. He had players like that. And he had big game players play like big game players at big time moments. Which is what you want. You want your best guys to play the best in the biggest games. And they did that. Defensively, they didn't. You got to be able to get at the quarterback, mainly Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner got to make a name for himself. He's done that a couple times this year. He's got to continue doing that. You have the other thing you're looking at is Brian Kelly versus Nick Saban. Brian Kelly's 1-0 in the SEC against Nick Saban. That's very rare for any coach to be able to say that. Another thing that's interesting, no quarterback against Alabama, I saw the stat, no quarterback against Alabama has won back-to-back years against Alabama. Not Ole Miss that year. I don't think LSU the other. I saw that stat earlier. It's very interesting to see. Jaden Daniels could be the first ever to do it. To have back-to-back years of beating Alabama since Nick Saban's been there. It'll be tough, though. You have this first half Alabama team that doesn't know what they're doing at times, and then you have the second half Alabama team that's like, how did this first half team even happen? You got to fix that. Both teams come off of bye weeks. It's in Bryant Denny Stadium. Big performance. You usually have these games. The legends are made in these type of games. These fields will remember you. For good or bad, it doesn't matter. To them it does. To them it very much does matter. But to outsider fans, you will be known as a legend or a legend for one team, but looked as someone looked down upon on another, as a failure on the other side. Yes, it gets that extreme at times. You have these moments, and you got to perform great. And I'm looking at the situation of, do you trust Milroe? Yes. By this point, you got to. Do you trust your receiving core? Yes. Jermaine Burton is great. And everyone else is pretty good, those receivers too. You got to trust your run game. You can score points. But can you close this game out? Probably. But the electrifying offense that you've let get loose, you couldn't match their point total, which was against Texas. I bet they've grown for that game. They've grown since that game a lot. And if I had to bet on who's going to win, I have to give the matchup that I bet on to Alabama. In saying that, I would say the winner of this game is going to be Alabama. I got it being 35-21. 35-31. It's going to be close. I got Alabama winning this one. I think they're going to late stop. That's going to be needed. Offense is going to go crazy. I got Bama winning this one. Watch out though, because there's going to be some plays in here that will change games, change lives, change seasons off of 3 or 4 plays. That can happen. People didn't know Mason Taylor's name a whole lot until last year when he had a game-winning 2-point conversion. Now he's a household name somewhere in places around LSU. People know who he is. Stuff like that. I'm not saying he wasn't known before, but he's known at a more level now. I know his name. I would have known that didn't happen. But he played great, and you get known for that. Jaden Daniels, being a more solidified great quarterback after he beat Alabama. Stuff like that. You got to play great in big games. And I don't doubt that these guys will sell short of that at all. I trust these coaches. I trust these players that have a great game. I got Alabama win this one, 35-31. I think the home field advantage will make a difference. So that's what I got. And yeah, please leave in the comments what you feel about this. I'm very interested to hear what y'all have to say. Hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. Go Vols. But God bless y'all.